Hello, and welcome to the Mind, Body, Spirit Network's High Vibe Tribe Expert Interview, where almost every week, pretty much every week, we bring in transformational leaders, teachers, healers, best-selling authors from all around the world in the mind, body, spirit, health, and transformation realm. And today is no exception to that rule. And we're very excited to have this special guest with us today. But we're going to pique your interest with some questions so you can decide whether this topic is for you or not. But I suspect it will be for you because we all have this problem, don't we, Lise? Would you say?
I would say we all do, yes.
Okay. All right. So hold tight. Let me just do a little reading here. All right. So here's the question. Does it sometimes feel as though there's something working against you, keeping you from accomplishing what you want so badly in your life? It's likely because your internal self-defeating operating system is running the show. I'm familiar with that. Overriding any new, healthier, heart-centered thought patterns and behaviors. At its core, your inherited subconscious operating system is trying to protect you, keep you safe, and prevent future hurts. And the question we have for you today is, what if you could dissolve these limiting beliefs that are blocking you from thriving in the life of your deepest desire, filled with purpose, heart-centered intimacy, abundance, and more? So today's special guest is Dr. Lise Janelle from Toronto, Canada. Lise, welcome. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me, Liz.
Lise, and we should just call each other Lise.
All right.
And as many of you know, we partner with the Shift Network in supporting their online events because they really are well aligned with our intentions of raising our level of consciousness on many levels on numerous issues. And today's issue is, it's coming up a lot in a lot of areas now, Lise. Have you noticed that this issue of subconscious beliefs get in the way of all of our intentions?
Well, I think it's something that's time has come for people to become aware, because we, like you said in the beginning, we wonder what's working against me? And actually, it's our survival mechanism that just kicks in. And relatively speaking, our conscious mind that wants something is the size of a football, and our subconscious mind, the football field.
Oh.
So we may want something with all our might in our mind, but if the subconscious mind, and I use this all the time, if the subconscious mind has associated more pain than pleasure, more danger than safety to something we want consciously, it will do everything it can not to have us have it.
That's a pretty dramatic comparison, a football field that's blocking our intentions.
Versus your conscious mind, the football. To give you an example, I have a client, she wants to be on the Olympic wrestling team here in Canada. And when she first started working with me, she was not doing so well. She was university level, that's where she was staying. And I started working with her, and I tested her on, I want to win. And lo and behold, she subconsciously didn't want to win because the person she was competing against had more seniority than her. And she felt deep down that if she won, that was not good, because what we have to find is the original moment when a belief got stored in her physiology. And as a little kid, she had an older brother, 2 years older, but she could beat him at all kinds of things, and that would make him really upset.
Oh.
So in her mind, winning against this woman that she was supposed to compete against was making her feel bad because that's how her brother felt. So I cleared that out, and now she won the world championships in January in wrestling, and she's a Canadian team. So I'm using this because, someone who wants to be at the Olympic, that's like a big focus of energy. But subconsciously, it was the football field
Whoa.
working against her.
Okay, Lise, I don't want to jump too far ahead, but I do want to ask one question, and then I want to tell the audience about your background. And then we can, because this is a good topic. It's a really interesting topic. Now, you mentioned that you tested. Do you use applied kinesiology to do that when you work with people?
I create a method called a heart freedom method. And the heart freedom method allows me to do this with people around the world. So I can do this on the phone, on Skype, on Zoom. But if a person is in front of me, yes, I can use the muscle testing as well.
Okay, but you can do it remotely in a different way to test what's in the way.
Yes.
I find that super fascinating when you find out that what you want is blocked by a football field of things that you weren't aware of. All right, let's let everybody know your background a little bit here. You have quite a nice, juicy background to share, Missy. Hold on. All right, well, first of all, I want to provide a testimonial from Jack Canfield. And many of you out there, if you're in the mind, body, spirit realm, you know Jack as the founder or co-founder of Chicken Soup for the Soul series. And Jack Canfield had this to say about Dr. Lise Janelle. Lise has helped me break through some of my subconscious limiting beliefs that I didn't even know I still had. She is literally magical. She's a fabulous coach. She has a technology that is so amazing in terms of breaking through the blocks that we don't even know we have. She can help you move through those blocks better than anyone I know on the planet. Now, woman, this is a huge testimonial. And who'd have thunk that Jack Canfield would have any more limiting beliefs, really?
And that's exactly because we all we're all playing in our quantum. And comparatively speaking, it's never about what other people are doing. It's always what's in my heart. What is it that I want to do? So relatively speaking, somebody else compared to Jack would think like, wow, but Jack also has his own dreams, his own aspiration, his own stories that can block him. We all do.
Okay, so that's good to point out that we may think the grass is greener, but we all still have things to work through.
It would be boring otherwise.
Oh, okay.
It's like,
I agree.
If you play tennis against someone who's not as good as you and you win all the time, that's boring, isn't it?
Oh yeah, exactly. Well, maybe we should chat with Serena Williams, see what she has to say about that. All right. So Dr. Lise Janelle is a life transformation coach. For the past 2 decades, she's helped thousands around the world make quantum leaps in their growth with her powerful seminars and leading edge techniques. Her clients include executives, entrepreneurs, artists, youth, moms, Olympic athletes, and celebrities. She's the founder of the Center for Heart Living, which is dedicated to empowering people by connecting them to their core values and putting them in action. Dr. Lise is a goal and result-oriented coach, and by working with the subconscious and conscious mind, her clients can move quickly to their desired outcome. Dr. Lise is a full-time heart-centered success coach, a keynote speaker, author, and national spokesperson. She's featured regularly in print, radio, and television, and is a member of the exclusive Transformational Leadership Council, which unites the top leaders in the field of personal and professional transformation. And Dr. Lise speaks openly about her practices and beliefs in her book, Conversation with the Heart, which successfully reconnects you to the heart so you can experience joy, love, and a feeling of true success. Now, Lise, how did you go? It doesn't say that you were a chiropractor for 22 years in there, or 23.
No.
How did you make that transition?
That's a good story. In 1988, my father was diagnosed with terminal cancer, given 9 months to live. 3 weeks later, my 21-year-old brother died in a car accident.
Oh.
And then within a month of this, my 8-year relationship to the man I thought I was going to marry ended. And it was so painful that it sent me on a quest to understand, how do we live life when these things happen? Again, I'm going to use this.
Okay, good.
Because life is going to bring us support and challenge forever. And it's not a case of if challenges are going to come, but when they come. How do we live life knowing that these things are going to happen and that we don't become flat like a pancake? So that was so painful that to survive the challenge, it sent me on the quest to understand these. And I ended up meeting different teachers and mentors. And in 1989, I wrote a mission statement for my life. And part of my mission statement said that I was going to help heal the hearts of millions of people through maximizing their life potential.
Wow.
So that was a pretty big...
That's a big statement.
That's a big statement. And it didn't come from my ego. It came from like a knowing inside that I'm supposed to be doing this. I didn't know how it's going to happen. I just knew the what and the why. So my whole life since 1989 has been based on organizing my time to making this happen. So in 2003, I was still a chiropractor, and I'd be standing behind my patients. All of a sudden, I would start crying.
Wait,
I took my girl.
Was that you or your patient was crying?
I was crying behind my patients.
Okay.
And I'd be lying down on the table. I'm adjusting them, and I'm crying.
Oh
I
my
took
God.
I took my girlfriend out for her birthday. Right in the middle of birthday dinner, I started crying. So I thought, okay, I need to stop. And I took 3 months off. And that's when I realized that I was crying because my heart was calling me to do this thing, but I was choosing comfort. Because I was established, my patients loved me, had an amazing lifestyle. I worked 25 hours a week. I took 10, 12 weeks off for a year.
Oh.
I had it all. But so I had to challenge myself and get out of my golden cage to be able to follow my heart. So that's how I made the transition. So in 2004, I pinched my nose and I jumped and I became a full-time coach.
Nice. Now, how did it come about that you got into this heart-centered coaching kind of method? Like, was there a common thread or common problem with all of your coaching clients?
Well, what ended up happening is I met two important mentors. One is John DeMartini. And John DeMartini is all about gratitude. And gratitude connects with the heart. And then I also met Scott Walker, both of them in 1989. And with Scott, I learned NET, neuro-emotional technique. For people who watch Grey's Anatomy, last May, Owen went to see an NET practitioner. So that's my background.
Okay.
So I've learned to use both the NET, the mind-body work, and combined it with the power of the heart. Because as human beings, we can live through our cerebral brain, our emotional brain, which is in our gut, and then our spiritual brain, which is our heart. And we only experience happiness when we live connected in the heart. And the only thing that lives in the heart is love, gratitude, inspiration, and wisdom. Love, gratitude, inspiration, and wisdom. Love is not an emotion. Love is our essence. And anytime you feel love in your heart, you feel happy. You just think of someone you really love. And just feel what it feels like. You feel happy, you feel grateful, you're inspired, and you have wisdom at that moment. And when you love someone, again, you can see the good sides, but you can also see the drawbacks of that person, but you still choose to love them. And that's what the big picture is all about, is to be able to find gratitude for the support, the challenge. Like I told you about what happened in 1988 with my father, my brother, and my relationship. It was the most painful time of my life, but it's the one thing that totally transformed my life. Equal and opposite to this time, my life has grown and gotten inspired, and it allowed me to wake up. That's what I call. As human beings, we have two possible state of being. The first one is the unconscious, asleep, infantile stage. The other one is the conscious, awakened, mature stage. Everybody makes it through the first one, but not everybody wakes up. And when you wake up, that's when you're playing a different game. Instead of looking to the outside world to tell you your worth, you start looking inside. You pay attention to your heart, and you start organizing your whole life according to what your heart desires for you, not what the world wants for you, but what you want for yourself.
Nice. So, Lise, my audience knows I'm a teacher of consciousness. And are you familiar with Dr. David Hawkins' books, Power versus Force?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I like to point out, in case we have listeners or viewers who are doubting the power of the heart. It's like, it sounds kind of airy-fairy, possibly. But according to consciousness research, the power of the heart calibrates in the 500s as opposed to the mind, which is in the 400s. And when you understand the logarithmic quantum nature of the calibrations, the heart is by far a superior vehicle to give your attention to over the mind.
And I'm also a certified heart math practitioner. And at the Heart Math Institute, they've measured the electromagnetic field of the brain and the heart and, the guts. And what they see is that the electromagnetic field of the heart is so much more powerful that it can create entrainment. So when you are in your heart, you can entrain the mind and the emotions to be in line to have access to your genius. That's when you're, as a human being, that's when you're the most efficient.
Oh, no. So they can see that?
They've been able to measure it. They have machines that can measure the electromagnetic field. And if you are really centered in your heart, it can be measured 8 feet around you.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's impressive, because we can be entrained by garbage. That's for sure.
Yes. There's on YouTube, there's a video clip, you can watch it. And it's a bunch of metronomes. And I think it's 30 metronomes, and they're all going at different, a metronome is supposed to be keeping time. And after, I think it's a minute and something, all of a sudden, all the metronomes are moving together. Oh. We are impacted by the people around us. The more you surround yourself with people who live from the heart, the more you compound your energy, the more you can create all of this. So it's important to create an environment of people that are, on a similar path, because they do impact us.
Yes. I have to say, I practiced with a very little technique I discovered on the Heart Math website when I would go to networking meetings. And I would just do that simple meditation, focusing on the heart while I'm driving in the car. And those meetings would be like astounding. Like I just would be the observer. I'm like, holy crow, look at it's amazing to see the impact it can have on a group and your own experience. It's like, whoa. Mm-hmm. So you've developed your own, I don't know if we should talk about this, or this is your Heart Math Freedom Technique is really for the Shift Network event, right?
It's the Heart Freedom Method.
I'm sorry, what did I call it?
The Heart Math.
I'm sorry, Heart Freedom.
Yeah, that's not a problem.
Freedom right there is free yourself. So I don't think did we answer the question about how did you get into this, the observation of these subconscious blocks? How did you get into discovering this with people?
So the first time was when I met Scott Walker, the founder of NET, Neuro-Emotional Technique. And it was really shocking to me, because the first time I went to one of the seminars, we muscle tested me on, I want to be successful. And I was not congruent with being successful. Like, that's crazy. Like, who doesn't want to be successful? That doesn't make sense. But doing the work, we went back to a moment. And it's fascinating. When you do the work, all of a sudden the memory of all the millions of datas of piece of information you have in your subconscious mind, it just pops right up. So in my case, I'm 5 years old. My sister is 3.5, and we're sitting there coloring in our coloring books. So I'm a 1.5 years older. I finished before her. I show it to my mother. My mother says, well done. Lise, you colored between the lines. It's beautiful. You're an artist. You might not agree with that, but that's what my mom said. So when my sister heard that, she ran away crying, because she's younger, she can't color between the lines, and she's feeling poorly. So now I'm standing there feeling, wow, when I'm successful, I make people feel bad. Ooh. And then worse, I end up alone. So I know subconsciously we're on survival mode. Being alone, we're social beings. Ending up alone is not something your subconscious mind wants for you. So it's going to hold you back. You're going to set goals, but you're not going to achieve them, or you're going to achieve them and then it's going to go away. You're going to create all kinds of situations just to keep yourself safe.
That's pretty interesting to point out that most of us likely have some childhood trauma, or, you know,
We all do.
Right. And then it just adds on because it builds over the years. It's constantly, you know.
We just prove ourselves right after a while.
Right. So how did the whole developing the technique, is it using other people's techniques that you started to apply with your clients?
Well, I've literally done this work with thousands of people one-on-one. So I spent thousands of hours. And I knew that the only way to erase an emotional trauma or belief or block is through gratitude. So my whole work has been able to find a moment where a belief got stored and go see the big picture so we can bring gratitude into the moment. Because emotions are guides to show us where we have the illusion of being unworthy of love. Emotions are guides to show us where we have the illusion of being unworthy of love. So, for example, when we go back to my story with my sister, at that moment, I felt unworthy of love because I had hurt my sister. So when we do the work, we would go back and we say, what's the truth? Well, the truth, I'm worthy of love no matter, you know, what. If I'm able to color between the lines, she's also worthy of love, even though she was not coloring between the lines. So that's number one. Number two is, what was the benefit to me? Because that's why we have to work to bring gratitude. Yes, it was challenging, but then if you can find, and I have a corny story, but it's the perfect corny story.
We like corn.
You had corn, good. So one day a scientist is observing a butterfly coming out of a cocoon. It's a huge struggle. It takes hours and hours and hours. So to be nice to the butterfly, he cuts the cocoon open. But by doing this, the butterfly has nothing to struggle against. So the wings are weak, it can never fly, and it dies like that. So when we can start looking at everything that's ever happened to us, if that's the only thing you as a listener right now are doing for the rest of your life, whenever you face a challenge, ask yourself, how is this guiding me? How is this helping me grow in love and wisdom? Where is it guiding me to go that I would not be going otherwise? And once you start coming from that place, then you can find gratitude even for the most challenging situation, just like the one I shared with you earlier. So for me, when I was a kid, because I didn't want to hurt other people, it made me humble. And it made me compassionate and made me want to understand what makes people tick. So when I look at the big picture, I can see how it was useful. But at some point, I needed to let go of this belief also. Because if I want to help heal the hearts of millions of people, I have to be able to be successful.
Yes. So
it's kind of a byproduct.
Now, when you discovered this incident about your sister, did you call your sister and say, hey, we need to clear some blocks between us?
Well, that was my block, because my sister actually is very artistic. Oh. Like, she does watercolor, she does beautiful watercolors. I think that, as much as she was challenged by me, she ended up building her wings, and she probably went, I'm going to be better than my sister, or something like that. And then it grew her, and right. she's able to do more things artistically than I am.
Good point. I do love that metaphor of the butterfly wanting to stretch its wings. I just had this a similar conversation with another Shift Network person the other day about allowing, we all want to help everybody to an extent, right? But allowing others to earn their own karmic merit was the phrase that we used. And when you understand, like just that story is the perfect story for that statement, is the wings are going to be nothing if you didn't allow that butterfly to do it. So
people often ask me, Lise, how do you do what you do? Because it's intense when I'm in a session with someone. Oh. And I go, it's because, as a human being, I have empathy for people, but as a spiritual being, I know that no matter how big the challenge is, this is good for them. So I
Yes.
just focus on holding the vision of them using this to their advantage, growing their wings, having more love, more gratitude, more wisdom through doing this work. Once you, like, for the rest of your life, if you can say, since I'm worthy of love, because that's the most fundamental thing that we all need to work from. Since I'm worthy of love, how is this support helping me? Because getting supported can be dangerous because it's so comfy, we just want to hang in there. And that can take us on a tangent.
Yeah.
So we need to be wise with it and not just get, pulled. And when we're being challenged, it's not about sucking our thumb and feeling sorry for ourselves. It's about, okay, I'm going to allow myself to feel upset and cry maybe, but then I'm going to take a breath and I'm going to go, all right, since I'm worthy of love, how am I going to use this to my advantage? And as you go through life and you start using both sides, then you start to see your life unfolding and feeling more and more happy and successful and all the things that we're truly craving.
Nice. So Lise, what can our listeners or viewers do right now? You have some tips for them on how to get over some subconscious blocks or even discover what they are? Like, is there a clue to?
Okay, there are 3 clues that you have a subconscious belief working against you.
Oh.
The first one is, you know what needs to be done, but you're not doing it. The famous procrastination.
Oh.
So it's not because you're lazy. It's not because you lack willpower. It's because at some level, your subconscious mind has associated more pain than pleasure, more danger than safety. So that's clue number 1.
Okay.
Clue number 2. You do everything right, but it feels like drudgery. You're eating healthy, you're salad, you're avoiding dessert, but you're using all your might because subconsciously you have associated junk food to love. So as soon as you release the pressure, you just go back into your old habits.
Oh.
That's one example.
Okay.
Or you need to go to the gym, but putting your equipment, your shoes and your tights on, it's like, it takes all your willpower to do it. So that's one clue. The other clue is you keep doing everything right. There's a formula, you do it, but you keep getting the opposite results. You'll see this with career where you want a promotion and you do everything, and then your colleague who's doing half of what you're doing gets the promotion.
Yeah.
Or you proclaim you want to have romantic love in your life, and you always end up with the person who's emotionally unavailable. Or you proclaim that you want financial stability, but you always make the wrong investments.
So that's an indicator of a subconscious block.
Yes. One of those 3 things, is for sure you have a subconscious block. So then after that is about finding what's the belief that's connected. And that's my whole heart freedom method that I use. It's the 10 steps that I use to find the block, and I could do it with you if you wanted to. So that's the best way.
For that. Although will you be doing this on your Shift Network event, going through?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
So that's where we'll do it.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So let's talk about that, because all of us, I could list a whole book of subconscious blocks for sure. But quick question, what's the difference between subconscious and unconscious?
The subconscious is the programming in your brain that, the Pavlovian response. You've heard of Pavlov's dog?
Yep.
You bring food to the dog is hungry, you ring a bell, the dog's salivating, and after a while you just ring the bell, the dog's still salivating. So that's subconsciously happening. You have subconsciously associated a stimulus with a response.
Okay.
When it's unconscious, it's things like you're not aware of anything, like at the unconscious phase of your life. You're not conscious, you're asleep, you're not even aware or awake enough to be able to ask yourself things. It's also your respiratory system that's going there. It's all the things that are on automatic, like your lungs are breathing, your heart is beating, your digestive system is digesting, all of these things. That's the unconscious versus the subconscious. Because subconscious means you have access to it through, there are methods to access the subconscious. When you're unconscious, it's blank.
Right. Okay. We all have our unconscious stuff going on. Oh, yes. Of course, our heart's beating, but all right. Yes. So, Lise, let's talk about your Shift Network event, because this is a great tool that we want to invite our audience, listeners and viewers in to check it out. And the name of Lise's Shift Network event is Experience the Heart Freedom Method, Rapidly Clear Subconscious Limiting Beliefs to Live Your Most Inspired Life. And this is going to be live on Saturday, October 26, 2019, which many of you won't be available to do that. But just know that typically you can access the recording for probably another 4 to 6 weeks until Lise's course. All of these events typically lead to a 7 or 8 week course. What's yours, Lise?
It's 7 weeks. Mm-hmm.
Oh, a 7-week course. So why don't you just give our audience a little snippet of what the free event is about?
Well, the free event, I'm going to give you the mechanism behind the blocks and what you're experiencing. And I'm also going to guide Lisa. It's funny, I'm getting interviewed by Liz and Lise and Lisa's.
I know. I keep wanting to call you Lise. I'm sorry.
That's no problem. So I'm going to guide her through the method. So you're going to be exposed to the method. And afterwards, the whole 7-week program is about making you proficient. So you can use the method for yourself. You can use it for, anxiety and health problems. Like if you have back pain, neck pain, you can go find. So often there's an emotion part of that. That's actually how I became aware of NET, because as a chiropractor, I could have 10 patients with similar low back pain. 8 of them would get better, and 2 of them would drive me crazy, wouldn't go away. And then doing the NET on them, I would find the emotion, and all of a sudden they would heal.
Nice.
Yeah, so I actually did this program with another company, and one woman, she, after 3 weeks of doing it twice a week, the method, she had been in pain for 35 years. She said she lost 60% of the pain that she'd been having.
Ooh.
And she said she's been trying all kinds of techniques, all kinds of stuff. So we're going to work on health. We're going to work on finances. Why is it that you never reach your financial goal? If you reach them, then you end up overspending. You're not saving enough. All of these things. We're going to explore that. We're going to explore romantic life. Why is it that you always end up with people who are emotionally unavailable, or people who are mean to you? And worse, why do you stay?
Okay. Right, good point.
Then we're going to check career, and again, the same thing. Why do you stay in something that's not fulfilling? Why do you get other people who have promotions and you don't? And all of these things that people don't believe in themselves and stay in a situation where they're stuck. Another one's going to be about our spiritual self, experiencing true happiness and love and unconditional love for ourselves. And I can't remember the other one.
Now, Lise, are you talking about the course, or is this all going to happen?
That's the whole course.
Oh, awesome.
So the first one that you're going to get, I'm going to expose you to the method, so you're going to understand the mechanics. And afterwards, if you choose to join me and we'll share this journey together, then you can use it for all the different areas of your life.
I love that. That sounds awesome. Okay, so listeners and viewers, I'm going to have a link below this video and podcast that you can register for Lise's Shift Network event. And if you missed the live one, which is likely, you can access the recording, and then you can get in on her course. Even though you may not get in on it when she launches it, it will be available as a recording after that. This sounds like a killer course.
I think it's amazing because it's my life's work, so it's my baby. But my clients who've been working with me for a while, they tell me, I don't know what people don't know this method.
No, I love it. So I noticed on your now, Lise, which website do you want to share today? Because I saw a couple of them. I wasn't sure which one to go with.
drleesjanelle.com or Center for Heart Living. It's the same. It will point you to the same place.
Oh,
Some people don't know how to spell my name.
I know.
So Center for Heart Living is easier.
So I will create a link for listeners. That'll be the mindbodyspiritnetwork.com/interview-Lise, Lise. That's not how you say it, but that's how you spell it. Janelle, Janelle. And when you click on that, you'll be able to access her event and register for the recording if you missed the live one. And you have to go through that in order to have access to this course, which sounds like a really super helpful course to get rid of all those subconscious blocks, sorry. Sign me up.
I'd love to have you.
Now, Lise, I saw that your website, you've been a love and relationship coach, right?
It's one of my, we always want to do for others when we had to learn ourselves. Yeah. And I have a program called Soul Worthy Love, and it's one of my favorite program that I have because I help people reconnect with their own heart, with their own soul, and then they can open themselves up to true love. Because we often want to find someone on the outside to make us feel amazing, but until you let go of your fear about love. I'm actually writing another book, and it's all going to be about that. It's going to be love is safe. If it's not safe, it's not love.
Good point.
So it's part of my passion right now is I want to demystify love. Most people, if you ask them, like for example, my girlfriend, her husband, 57 years old, just died like this 2 weeks ago. She's in a lot of pain, and I know from working with a lot of people that at some point now she's going to be afraid of loving someone else, because what if I love someone else and then they die on me? Yeah. So we go through life protecting ourselves, preventing ourselves from being hurt, guaranteeing being hurt. Because when you live with your heart just half open, it doesn't feel good. Like just before I did this interview with you, I was interviewing a woman who wants to work with me. And on a scale of 1 to 10, I asked her, how good does your life feel? She said 1.5.
Oh.
And 1.5 is because her husband is not connecting with her, is putting her down, and she has 2 young kids, and she feels she has to stay because of the kids. She's also afraid I won't have money, and he's threatening her, and it's like, whoa. We need to, it's dangerous. If you don't follow your heart, I've worked with quite a few people with cancer, and I can tell you, every single person that I've worked so far, I'm batting 100%. If I test them on I want to live, or it's good for me to live, or it's good for others that I live, one of these they're not congruent with. So subconsciously, again, they have associated more pain than pleasure to living.
That's super interesting to know that.
Mm-hmm. So when we make our life all about what other people need and not ourselves, I believe that's one of the reasons women get breast cancer. Men can also get breast cancer. They don't get it as often because breast is nurturing, and over-nurturing of the others can lead to that path. It's super important. For me, my definition of love is wanting the best for you while respecting my needs. So we need to make both people important in a relationship. But if you don't feel worthy of love, you make the other person more important than you.
Right. So
there's the cost there.
Yeah.
That's why it's super important, all of us. This is, again, I use this for this is my formula for, I love my visual. This is my formula for success. Okay, this is the yin, which is listening to your heart. This is the yang, which is acting for your heart. Your heart wants you to know two things. First thing it wants you to know is your dreams and aspiration, and that you're worthy of love. Those two things are super important. Anytime you have any belief other than I'm worthy of love, you need to figure out why. The Heart Freedom Method is a really good way of finding out where you got this belief. The other thing is often people are afraid of admitting to themselves what it is they want in life. This morning, I was working with a client, and he comes to see me because he doesn't want to go back with his ex-wife, but she wants him to go back with her, and he's not so sure, and he knows what he likes, but he's not so sure. So I tested him on, I'm okay being clear on what I want. And he was not okay with that. Why? Because when he was 6 months old, one day he was crying and crying and crying, and his mom did not come.
Oh.
And at one point, if you cry, nobody comes, you start asking, because what if I cry and ask and nobody comes? It hurts too much. I'm just going to stop asking. That way I won't be hurt. And our mom can love us to peace, you know, she can be asleep, she passed out from taking care of us all day. Now we're creating all these stories, and a lot of us have that. So to be successful in life, first know you're worthy of love. When you have any other idea than that, you need to stop and find out what's the story creating that. The second thing is you must admit your dreams and aspiration. You must make yourself as important as everybody else. And then it's about organizing your time to make these things happen. Because to be happy in a relationship, this is you, this is your partner. And when you can intersect, you have something that can last forever. If you give up of yourself, as you can see now, if you give up of yourself, one circle is redundant. You're trying to fit in the other person's life. This is not allowed to stay in the universe. This will always lead to this. So it's either you're going to divorce or one of you will die.
Oh, nice options.
Nice options.
Right.
So if you want a long-lasting relationship, you need to learn you fulfill your heart. Your partner fulfills their heart. Then you share a bond together. Yeah. You know, you find it's not complicated. When I say to someone, they say, oh, I'm scared. I don't know. I want to go back. I want to go back to the dating scene, blah, blah. I go, do you have a best girlfriend or a best male friend? And they go, yeah. Is that scary? No. Would you be scared if I asked you to go find another best girlfriend and a best male friend? They go, no. Well, finding a life partner is not any different.
Right.
We make it all these things because of the songs on the radio and Harlequin novel and 50 Shades of Grey and all these things. And that's scary because it's not sustainable and it always hurts. But having a best friend, that's something sustainable. That's something that's going to make you happy for a long time.
Nice.
So as you can see, don't ask me about relationships because I'll keep talking.
I love that. Well, it's good to know. So, Lise, how do you work with people? Because I know people will be interested in wanting to work with you. What do you do? Like, what are different ways people can work with you besides the Shift Network event, which I'd highly recommend? That's good stuff.
People can do one-on-one coaching with me. So I have 6 months and 1 year coaching program one-on-one. I have seminars. I have the Art of True Love seminar. I have the Extreme Freedom Weekend seminar, which is great.
Now, are those live or online or both?
Those are live. And if people are, around the world, it happened. I've had someone from India joining in, someone from Berkeley, someone from France joining me. I do it live like this. Like you can be on the Zoom.
Oh, okay.
It's like you're in the classroom with me. You can ask questions. You learn all the same things. So we can do it that way. Nice. And I have online programs. And one of them is the Soul Worthy Love program.
I love
which
that.
includes some live parts and on the one-on-one coaching and, things to learn. It's great.
I definitely want to dive deeper into what you're doing. I know I need to remove a lot of subconscious blocks for sure.
I'd love to have you.
I love the fact that you can test, like, okay, you may want that, but you're blocking it. Like, oh, you're kidding me. Because I've had people tell me that. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I'm always like, no way.
Yesterday, I had this beautiful woman come to see me. It was the first time I was seeing her. And she was in a relationship that was really not good for her. So she divorced. And now she's dating this guy. And she says, sex is great, but we have no connection. And I go, you know what? It's because subconsciously it's safer for you. I can guarantee you, the ultimate frontier for someone, people can have an open heart. People can have great sex. But an open heart and great sex, whoa.
Not allowed.
That takes mastery because, again, if you're in a relationship, you have two subconscious fears. One is to be abandoned. The other one is to be engulfed.
Oh.
And we oscillate between those two things. What if I love someone with all my heart and we have great sex together? I might lose myself in that person. And worse, what happens if they die?
Oh my God.
So you have the fear of being abandoned and the fear of being engulfed. And we oscillate until we become conscious. That's why it's important to become aware of our patterns, because otherwise all these stories are ruling our life instead of our heart.
Yeah. Well, Lise, thank you so much. And again, I want to reiterate the power of the heart in consciousness is quantum in nature. And the research that HeartMath is doing calibrates at a very high level of consciousness, which is why I like to tell people, listen up to heart-centered living and learn how to do it. So one last question, my dear. I assume in this class you're going to talk about heart-centered living.
Oh, yes, for sure. Everything I do is to help people live from the heart.
Okay.
Because truly, it's the key for happiness. You won't be happy in your head. You won't be happy in your gut. The only place you're going to be happy is in your heart.
Thank you. So again, listeners and viewers, Dr. Lise Janelle's upcoming Shift Network event, I'm going to keep you saying your name, is Experience the Heart Freedom Method, Rapidly Clear Subconscious Limiting Beliefs to Live Your Most Inspired Life. And we'll have links to all of that. Lise, I thank you so much for joining us today. You're a delight. And do you have YouTube videos I can go and watch?
There's tons of YouTube video. We have a channel called the Heart. If you go on my website, you're going to send them, but I have a YouTube channel about heart something. Okay,
good. That's a great resource for everyone. So again, Lise's website is DRLiseJanelle.com. Or what's the easier one?
Centerforheartliving.com.
Centerforheartliving.com. All right, we'll have all of this link.
All right.
Thank you so much. And if you are listeners or viewers, if you're enjoying this, you can subscribe to our podcast at highvibetriberadio.com or on YouTube at highvibetribetv.com. And of course, we'd love to have you come visit the mindbodyspiritnetwork.com, where you can connect with all of these interesting and alternative online courses, transformational leaders in these really interesting fields, and also connect with service providers in the alternative, in the mind, body, spirit realm. We got a lot going on there.
Right. I remember in my channel on YouTube, it's Heart Living TV.
Heart Living TV. There you go.
Yes,
I for you, little TV.
All right.
All right, Lise, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Good luck on your Shift Network launch. I'm sure
Yes.
it'll be a huge hit. You're a love.
Keep doing your great work.
Thank you.